Welcome to our inaugural edition of Leadership Beyond Burnout. Today, we have an exciting guest for you, executive coach and speaker Zipporah Monique. She is the CEO of the Crown Collective, and let's introduce her.
Hi
Welcome.
there. Hi there. It's so good to be here. I'm super excited for this conversation. So, thank you so much for inviting me.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the things that we try to do with every episode is to ensure that we highlight people in the community who are leaders in their business, in the community, or in their homes, and share some actionable steps to get beyond burnout because that affects so many people in business in our world today.
Absolutely.
So, share with us a little bit about what you do and what brought you to this point that you're at today.
Awesome. Oh, my goodness. So, I start with what I do. So, I am an executive consultant. What I do is I help CEOs, I help leaders, I help high performers really hone in on not only their emotional intelligence but their self-awareness, as well as helping them navigate through the ins and outs of business. While it's either it's creating systems for themselves, either it's allowing themselves to handle their employees better, or allow themselves really just to have that customer experience or customer satisfaction component. So I really just do trainings and sessions and retreats based off of those things. The reason why I got into being an executive consultant is I started off making websites, right? That was my first thing. That was my first gig, was making websites for business owners. And then I went in, and I was very lucrative in that business. And then I went into teaching business strategy. And when I was teaching business strategy, I noticed that so many broken people were building broken businesses. And I was like, hold up, I can't give you business
Wow.
strategy if
Wow.
right, if your emotional intelligence isn't there, if your awareness isn't there, if your belief isn't there, or just like how you're teaching if you're burning yourself out, you're burning the candle end, you're waking up late, you're waking up night, and you're waking up early and going to sleep at night, right? How are you really functioning? We want you to function at 100% when you're being this leader. And a lot of people are lacking those leadership skills as well as those self-regulation skills. So that's why I kind of pivoted, and I was like, okay, let's get to the crux of it. Let's get to the core of this so we can really build those leaders, not just be in leadership roles and have these leadership titles, but actually be a leader inside and out.
Now, you said a word when you said you can't be in business and be broken.
Right.
That was so powerful. One of the things that is so interesting, I think, is that you and I both work with very high performing, high achievers who have a hard time believing that they need assistance unless you find it different because what they've been doing has gained them some material success.
Yeah.
So, what has been your experience with that?
No, I agree with you. I think a lot of people are kind of stuck in their ways. But I work with people who are want to level up. I work with the people who don't want to stay the same. I work with people who want these scalable businesses. I work with people who want to step outside themselves. A lot of people are like, I've been doing this for 10, 20 years. I've been making money and things of that nature. Well, it's beyond making money. It's the financial freedom that we're talking about. It's the wealth freedom that we're talking about. It's the family freedom that we're talking about. How do you want to do those? And how do you create systems to duplicate that over multiple businesses, right? A lot of people
Mm,
are like, okay, we're going in this one business and I want to, I'm making money in this one business, but they're leaving money on the table by not duplicating themselves. They're continue to trade time for money, right? So we're talking
right.
about leaders and CEOs and entrepreneurs. We're no longer supposed to be trading time for money, right? So we're giving you the tools and tips, and stop trading time for money, expanding yourself, expanding your intellectual property. And once you're able to do that, you really can have that financial freedom that a lot of people are talking about. They can live the life, they can travel around the world still making passive income. So that's the people who I work with, the people who don't want to stay normal or don't want to stay complacent. I always tell my clients, I am not in this game to make you feel comfortable. I am in this game to make you feel uncomfortable, because that's where the true growth lies.
Okay. Uncomfortable conversations to get them
Absolutely.
beyond where they've been stuck at.
Absolutely.
That is so wonderful. Now, tell us about all the businesses that you have and that you're growing and nurturing.
Absolutely. So thank you for asking that question. I have studied from the greats. So when I first started in business, I always wanted to make sure that I multiplied myself, because I feel like that was I read a ton of books on how millionaires were keeping their millions, how billionaires were keeping their billions. So as of right now, I do executive consulting. Um, and that's really just going out, doing a half day session, a full day session, doing retreats, really just being there. But I also do one on one coaching with high performers that are like, hey, I just want to deep dive in with you and do this one on one coaching. I have 5 books right now, which is it's amazing, because Crowned is one of my first books. It really outlines where I was as this super low self-esteem, didn't know what was going on, didn't know have as any self-awareness, had no emotional intelligence person, to being so confident really in myself, and kind of like the tools and tricks and the things that I kind of outline those things. And the second one is really just an emotional intelligence guide for women.
Mm,
So it goes
okay.
through the boundaries, the forgiveness. It goes through um, the shadow work. It goes through the self awareness. It goes through the self manifesto that kind of walks you through. And then the rest of the books are really focused on high performing individuals and emotional intelligence. So my third stream of income is books. Another stream of income that I have is excuse me, is I have printables on Etsy. So printables on Etsy, it really gets people organized. Like I said, it's those systems that's going to work over time.
Right.
I am a biology major, so I still believe in systems, even though I'm not working in biology right now. I still believe in systems. So Etsy really gets you like the financial planner, the guides, and things of that nature. So I just posted it on there and things of that nature. And then the last one is real estate development. So I have a couple Airbnbs, and we're trying to expand this year to either a duplex or just a multi-unit place. So right now, those are my streams of income, and I am in love with them. Right. So
Hi, I'm Amy Joy, and I'm the host of Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy. And you can catch me every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific on the amazing Trajectory channel right here on E360 TV.
So you aren't just teaching these strategies, you are living them. So you have some lived experience to offer and not just the textbook knowledge.
absolutely, absolutely. And I always tell my clients, you can't teach what you don't know. Okay. And a lot of
Right.
people try to do that, but it's you people can see the fraud in you. People can understand, like, okay, you get to a level and it's like, well, yeah, you're not past this level. But of course, I think I pride myself a lot on figuring out the system so my clients don't have to. I'm really like, cheat code, let's do cheat code, and I'm your cheat code, use me, and then we can get to where you want to be faster, right? We
Mm.
start off with the what goals you want, and then we give you action steps, and the action steps really turn into a constant disciplined system.
Okay. All right. And I hear you saying cheat codes. So that's is there a little bit of a gamer in you as well?
I used to be a gamer for sure. I used to be a gamer for sure, but I think one thing is a lot of people like to hit the cheat code button. Like a lot of people want to hit the easy button, right? A lot of people want to do that, and while a lot of people think that it's unattainable, it's easy if you find the right resources, right? People can hand you I can hand you all of my systems, but you're gonna have to do the hard work through the systems. But learning it's gonna be easy. It's the hard work. This is actually the repetitiveness, right? A lot of people say, um, usually what happens is that you have to be different from everybody else by staying consistent, If you're staying consistent, that's the hardest thing to do. Is stay consistent even when it doesn't look like even when it doesn't look favorable, or even when it looks like it's not working, or whatever the case may be. You just have to stay consistent. And I think that if we stay consistent through our systems and be disciplined, we can achieve anything. We can really scale anything that we want.
So, what do you say to the the young leader, the mom, the community leader who is consistently inconsistent,
Yeah.
who have that habit going for them because this came up or that came up? What would you say to them?
I would say to them that I want you to take a snapshot of your life right now. Take a snapshot, a real snapshot, right? Sometimes we struggle with self honesty, but take a snapshot of your life right now. Do you love it? Do you love what you see? If it's a
Mhm.
no, we got some work to do. If it's a yes, how can you do better? There's always room to do better. And not only that, once you take that snapshot, that is literally how you think of yourself. How you are currently living your life is currently how you think of yourself. And you can always change it. You can change it today. You can change it tonight. You can change it in an hour. Um, and how you change that is really just being resourceful and understanding that not only you have the power within you, two, there are all types of resources. It is 2023. If you are not able to make money online, or able to provide resources for yourself, then you're just not being resourceful enough. Um, and just
Wow.
from an empowerment standpoint, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody will. Or how, as the Bible say, whatever he thinketh, so is he. You
Mhm.
have to believe in the things that you're putting. You have to put in your attention to. You have to believe that the seeds that you're planting today is going to grow. Right? You don't plant a seed today and you get an apple tree tomorrow. So you just really need to make sure that you stick in there. Right? Nothing that is gonna come easy for to you is gonna be worth it. Okay.
Right,
A baby,
right.
a baby takes 9 months, right? Everything usually takes a time of matriculation for a reason. So make sure that you stay and don't doubt yourself throughout the process, because that only hinders you more.
Now, would you believe that, well, not believe, do you assert that as well as their own mindset, but it's the people that they're surrounded by that sometimes contribute to this inconsistency or belief that they can't, they'll grow instantaneously?
Absolutely. And I think, absolutely. I'm so happy that you said that, because let's think about it. A ship is good on top of water, right? A ship can glide across water all day, all long. It's the problem is when water gets inside the ship. So it's kind of like, think about the ship as being like your mindset. When you let water, opinions, comparison, you think about what other people want, all of those different things inside your ship, that's when you start sinking. That's why in the beginning I was like, take a snapshot of your life. What do you want? What is in your life what do you currently want? What do you currently not want? Whatever the case may be, figure out what you want for yourself, regardless of what everybody's opinions, regardless of what everybody want, regardless of what everybody's doubt is. If you read about the greats, everybody had doubt, right? Oprah had doubt, Maya Angelou, um, all of these people had doubt in coming to them, because they were anomalies, right? Anomalies. Noah at the ark had doubt. Okay, he just kept on building. Okay, right? And you really have to have that mindset. Like, I can't let anything in. Like, I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm going to achieve, and do it that way.
Right. And one of the things that I've used is I don't ask people for support or assistance
Yeah,
that haven't been where I'm trying to go.
that part. Absolutely,
Because I have
absolutely.
absolutely found if I'm struggling with my own doubt, my own fear, because there's going to be fear when
Yeah,
you step into
yeah,
something new, when
yeah,
you create a new light, a new path.
yeah.
And the last thing that I need are those seeds of doubt to couple with my own doubt.
We don't need any of that, okay? Any of that. Any of that. And
Now,
also with your doubt, like making sure that so doubt is something that's going to creep in. The imposter syndrome, excuse me, imposter syndrome is going to creep in every single day. Make sure that you are ready to battle that every single day. So we're talking about being disciplined and having a routine and so on and so forth. Make sure you have a routine in the morning that's going to clear your mind, that's going to rejuvenate you, that's going to really allow you to remember who and what you are and what you're striving for. That morning routine is going to be everything for you. So make sure that you're battling imposter syndrome at the front door and not during your day. Okay.
so really setting the tone for your day is what you're
Absolutely.
suggesting. Do you have
Absolutely.
do you have a little morning routine that you can give our audience?
I
But something that you've
do.
used personally?
I do. So about a couple years ago, I've been in business for about 8 years. So probably on year 7, I was like, okay, let's figure out this morning routine because, honey, the imposter syndrome is going to come in, okay? Especially with my parents not really wanting me to be an entrepreneur, okay? So I read this book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Arid, and his acronym for the Miracle Morning was SAVERS, SAVERS. And learning this savers was absolutely, not only was all the billionaires and billionaires using this, but that it really just transformed their mornings. So I'll lay it out for you. S is for silence. So in the morning you can either meditate, you can pray, you can really just get back to yourself. I like to meditate and pray in the mornings. A is for affirmations. A is for like a affirmation, just affirming yourself, affirming your day, affirming your business, affirming your strength, your strength in God. V is for visualizations. Back in the day, everybody had a vision board. Everybody was really
Absolutely.
yes, using using their vision board for themselves. Well, use a vision board, but not only, if you have this really big goal, visualize yourself already in the shoes, right? If
Mhm.
you visualize yourself as this well-renowned speaker, or this medical doctor who's received all these accolades, put yourself in that, feel it, close your eyes, lay across the bed, and literally feel the feeling of how you're going to feel when you accomplish your goals and your dreams, that not only get you closer to your goals and your dreams, but it doesn't make your body feel foreign to it when you're doing the action steps for it. E is for exercise. You can either go out for a run, you can go to the gym, or you can hit yoga real quick. I like doing yoga in the morning and catching a evening or midday walk. R is for reading. So you can either read the Bible, you can either read a couple pages, you can read a newspaper, you can read the stock market. However, you whatever you want to read, just add some reading in there. Um, and the other S is for scribe. So that's writing. So journaling, getting some
Mhm.
journaling in there, which is really, really helping. So map out three things that you're grateful for. And that really starts your gratitude. The attitude of gratitude would always excel you. But um, writing out 3 things that you're grateful for, writing out your to-do list for the day, or writing out, just journaling your thoughts and getting your thoughts out. Another thing that I added to my morning routine is music. I love music. I love the way that it makes me feel. I'll add some gospel. I'll add some jazz. I'll add some R&B, whatever I'm feeling that day. But it really just gets me going. Or another thing will be a YouTube channel. If I do need that extra boost, I would just put on. There's so many motivational videos on YouTube, or put on an audiobook. So those are extra outside of savers that I know that work for me. But literally, I wrote out savers, and also on my Etsy shop, I have a planner page that actually has savers on it. So where you can scratch it off and say, okay, I did this, I did that. So yeah, that's my morning routine. And it really just changes your morning, right? Because before my mornings was rushed. It was like, oh my God, I got to do this. I got to do whatever. Oh my gosh. This is like, oh my God, let me just run into my day. But then you start doing your day slowly and being intentional with your morning, it really carries a tone for the rest of the night. It really, really does.
So many people, I think, when they want to create morning routines, they end up sacrificing sleep or
Mm-hmm.
doing something else. What I've seen a lot of is that leaders will continue to add things on their plate to accomplish
Right.
the goal without taking anything off. And when you think about the plate, and if you just think about food, if you just keep, Thanksgiving, when you just put everything on the plate and then everything doesn't taste good anymore because some juice you don't want mixing in with
Right.
your meal.
Right.
So did that happen to you on your journey to when you reclaimed your reign? Were you experiencing burnout? Did you add too many things and figure out like, no, I've got to change something?
Yeah, man, that's such a great question. Man, that's such a great question. I say that because I think everybody, like, being perfectionists, right? The high performers, I feel like we're just naturally trying to be a perfectionist. We're trying to take on everything. So of course that burnout was there. And I think that's why I wanted to create a routine, because I was so burnt out by the end of the day. I felt like I was putting so much of my energy in so many things, and I would look back over the day and I had no idea what I attributed my time and action and energy to. Um, but I knew that I needed to have structure. So for me, when I start having structure, I feel a little bit more grounded. I feel a little bit more stable. So while it sounds like, oh man, you're adding more things to your plate, it gave me more it gave me a better system, if you will. So let's say, because I'm an entrepreneur, I work for myself, and I can wake up at any time that I want to. Then if I was supposed to wake up I usually try to be at my desk at like 8. So if I wake up at 7, then I'm gonna take that whole hour, and then I'm gonna ease into my 8 o'clock. If it's 8:30, then that's perfectly fine. But usually I get a lot more done. So that's the thing. That's the kind of trade off. If I wake up and have this amazing morning routine, then I can get into the zone and work those power hours for 4 hours, and then I can come out so productive, only working 4 hours, right? And get a little break, and then go back into the lab for another 4 hours, right? So I think that while before I had my morning routine, burnout was inevitable. There was no catering to me. There was no self-care. There was nothing pouring into me. I just kept pouring out, pouring out, pouring out, pouring out. And as you know, when you continue to pour out and there's nothing coming back into you, that's when you hit burnout. That's when you're making too many promises to everybody and not making enough promises to yourself. So that morning routine really just allowed me to make myself the forefront. Just be a little selfish in the morning, choose me first, and then I can choose everybody else. So yes, absolutely.
Now, did you see that modeled in your home, or was that something that you had to learn?
Oh my gosh, that was definitely not modeled in my home. It was probably the opposite. It was probably the opposite. I'm so embarrassed about the opposite. The opposite was
Why would you be embarrassed? This
I
is
mean,
this
not
is your
embarrassed,
foundation.
right? Not embarrassed, but it's like, oh my gosh, it was just the complete and total opposite. Like, in growing up in my home, it was flash the lights on. I'm throwing these covers off of you. Like, hurry up and go. You just figure it out. Like, it was chaos in mornings. Okay, it was so chaos, and that's probably why I need the structure now, because it was just so chaotic. It was so chaotic. And I didn't have good days at school.
Mm.
I was talking back, girl. I was doing all of the above. I wasn't. No, don't talk to me before 9 o'clock. We at school at 7:30, but don't talk to me until 9 o'clock. That's 2 periods later. So so it's so good. It's so good that I have that structure now because it really makes a night and day difference. A night and day difference.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
Wow. And what was your household like? Now I know you have a brother. His name was Dr. Novocaine.
Yes, ma'am.
I love that when I was like, okay, he takes away the pain. Dr. Novocaine.
Hilarious. Yes, that is him. That is my brother. He is an orthodontist outside of Atlanta. One of my best friends in the world. Hilarious. That is so beautiful that you saw him on my Instagram page. So thank you for that. So yes, so we grew up in a single parent home. It was my mom, it was me, it was him, and then we have another brother. The interesting thing is that my dad, he lived in New York. So we were in Atlanta. My dad lived in New York, but he had 4 other children in New York. So he had 7 children. I'm the baby of his 7. So growing up in this single parent home, we were definitely latchkey kids. We like our accomplishments were our accomplishments. My mom didn't have time. Like she worked so hard for us, and I just thank her for what she did provide. Like we never missed a meal. Like she was always making sure that we still had like little things to do in the summer. Like she really just tried to instill in those things, but the emotional piece was missing, right? Her parents weren't emotional, so she couldn't really give that emotional mother figure, which is so fine, and it's okay. I think we're sometimes we're so harsh on our parents. I know I was previously to going through therapy and things of that nature. I was so harsh on my parents, but literally they were kids of themselves, right?
Right.
My mom had me at 27. Child, I wouldn't know what to do when I was 27. About to have a child, about to have 3 of them. I wouldn't know what to do. So
mine was 17.
Exactly. Or like a lot of people have young parents, and it's like we blame them for so much, and you really have to understand it was really babies raising babies, right? So like I just really had to really understand what it was. It wasn't a bad household. I wouldn't say that, but it was definitely where I wasn't emotionally supported, for sure. For sure. And that's probably what led to me not being emotionally intelligent. So I got A's and B's, but it was no validation. It was no because my brother got A's. Of course, he's an orthodontist, so he got A's. So he got all the shine and so on and so forth. Then my other brother, he was the bad.
You were just regular. You got B's.
Right. Just regular. And then my other brother, he was a troublemaker. So split between her firstborn being this troublemaker. Okay, let me save him. And then this straight A student, just like you said, I fell perfectly in the middle, right? And sometimes we get missed perfectly in the middle. And then I was also the only girl, so it was like, okay, I can understand these boys here, but this girl, she needs a little bit of emotion that I can't necessarily give to her, essentially. So
were you the helper?
I think that I tried to be the helper in trying to get validation. Like I wanted her validation so much. Like I think I did so much to get her validation and to be seen and to be different and so on and so forth. And I don't think it worked just because just even her emotional stability, her emotional intelligence, which is perfectly fine, but I always sought for that. So yes, being the helper and so on and so forth. I still have a burn on my stomach because I was trying to be a helper in the kitchen and I was probably too young to be a helper in the kitchen. And she was like, wait, and I didn't want to wait because I felt like I got it. So yes, so there were things, right? There were things, but I definitely like I just thank her just for like I said, she was the rock. She was the absolutely rock. And while the emotions weren't there, I learned so much, because we never know in our lives what things are going to lead to. But me not having that emotional intelligence, her not being supporting me emotionally, I can do this now. I can be this
Right.
executive coach now with the emotional intelligence portion. I can really lead people to being emotionally stable. I can really lead people to seeing, that wasn't emotional intelligent. You're still
Mhm.
triggered at this. Your undercare is showing. We gotta fix that. We gotta heal that. We gotta
Right.
work through those things. And that's why I'm
And
here for that.
I would suppose, because you have been able to give that empathy, that compassion to your parents, that when you find these leaders who are not emotionally intelligent and who are parents as well,
Absolutely.
that you can spot that wound. And
Absolutely.
wow, that's so powerful, just to share that, even front in the midst of a deficit, how we can heal others and heal the world beyond, because you can so easily spot that. And is that a significant amount of your work at all, parent guilt?
So that's a good question. So when I first started off with teaching emotional intelligence, I focused on domestic violence shelters. I focused on women's correctional facility. I focused on I did a lot of work with the Wounded Warrior Project. So we did do a lot of work on parent guilt. Um, and in Crowned, if you get a chance to read the book, um, if any of the viewers get a chance to read the book, I talk about not only the single parent home that we were just talking about, but after my single parent home, I got into a 7-year domestic violence relationship. So because I didn't have this emotional stability, or wasn't proud of myself, or I had this low self-esteem, I allowed that to go into my relationships, right? And have dealt with this for 7 years and felt like there was no out. So that's why I was able to write Crown, and it was really this transformation. And I was helping domestic violence shelters, women that was battered, survivors, sexual assault survivors, and so on and so forth, really get through their trauma. And just like you said, just being able to hone in on that and really teach that. But yes, parent guilt is something that we talk about in my next book, Reclaim Your Reign. Well, we talk about that a little bit in Crown, but in Reclaim Your Reign, we go through the forgiveness section. And a lot of people have to work through their parent guilt, especially if they're saying parent guilt. um, because it's a thing where it was like, especially in our community, it's like my mom is jealous of me, or my
Wow.
mom still thinks I'm a child when I'm 47, like all these different things keep on going on and keep on arising, and so on and so forth. Or not even that, the triggering or the toxic relationship, or the toxic generational pattern from mother to daughter, it continues on down the line. And that
Yes.
only steals the self-awareness. It only steals the proudness. It only steals the voice of the young girl over and over again, and just creates a cycle. So we do nip that in the bud, and we do talk about finding your voice. We talk about honing in on not only, like, would you beat your parents up for these things? What do you celebrate your parents for? I had to
Mm,
work through those things, right? Like, oh
right.
man, I really don't like my parents because of this, because of this. But if it wasn't for, there is a very, 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 very small chance on being alive, right? On being
Mhm.
actually born, not only to inception, but your parents didn't decide to abort you. Not only
Right.
from childhood diseases, from childhood accidents. For you to be alive right now is absolutely a phenomenon. Anybody
Right.
to be alive
Right.
right now is a phenomenon. So I think that there's no accidental lives. So once we understand that there's no accidental lives, then you understand, well, my parents literally was a vessel for me to be here. Why did God choose my mama and my daddy to have me at that specific time,
Right.
right? So you gotta look at what they did give you. My mom is the most creative, the most hardworking, the most resilient, the most God loving person ever. And my dad, he is going to be the loudest in the room. He is going to be the most funniest in the room.
Right.
He's really going to make sure that you have a good time. He's going to be that personable, right? He knows everybody and anyone, right? And I'm literally this perfect mold of them. And until I really gave them their flowers for being those adjectives for me,
Right.
I wasn't able to heal. I wasn't able to
Mm.
heal. I was only blaming them for their negatives.
Wow. So until you celebrated who they were, in spite of who they are,
Exactly. That part.
that truly released you. You didn't have to hold on to, well, my mama did this and my daddy
Right,
did that, and
right.
create a new life.
Absolutely.
And I also believe, and let's see if you disagree, that many times people take these roles in their family and try to replicate them in the workplace culture.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh my
they
gosh.
demand compliance.
Yeah. And that's not how it works. That's not how
Not
it
very
works
emotionally
at
intelligent.
all. That's not how it works because demanding right there is we're not being empathetic. We're not looking at people as humans. And we have to look at just like we have to look at our parents like they're just human, right? They're just going through their own thing. You have to look at people in the workplace as being humans, right? How is this person feeling, right? They're not a workhorse. They're not just a person that's just there holding space. How are these people feeling? Do they feel like they are going to be able to work toward the goal that you gave them? Do they feel like they're able to? Do they feel like they have a voice, right? Because if those things aren't happening or those things aren't transpiring over the time that they're working for you, they're not. They're like productivity is going to be low. Employee retention
Absolutely.
is going to be low. Company culture is going to be disastrous, and people see this. A lot of people see this because a lot of people we talk a lot about toxic workplaces right now.
Right.
Toxic workplaces for um, um, people of color, for women, for the LGBTQ community, or just toxic period because their
Absolutely.
boss wants to be a dictator.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
that's not what we're doing here, and so much so that when we pivoted during the pandemic for working in person and then virtual working, employers felt like they needed to be micromanagers now. Oh, you're
Oh,
at home.
absolutely.
I need
Did
to
you hear about the
micromanage
one where
every
they're
second.
taking pictures of people every 9 seconds at their computer? I forget what the software is, but it takes images. That is crazy.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy because once you have these reins, if any, okay, anyone, anything, anything, if you have so tight reins on someone, guess what they're going to do? Oh,
What's that?
I'm about to go. I am about to leave. If I start
Right.
feeling like something is a cage, you are taking a picture of me for 9 seconds. You don't trust my ability to govern myself, and you don't trust. And I'm pretty sure some people in their company don't need 9 seconds. I'm pretty sure it's probably one or two people that need 9 seconds. Right, their picture taken in 9 seconds. Well, talk to them, right? You can
Right.
have a real conversation with them, but doing that is absolutely says I don't have any empathy. I don't have any leadership skills. I only can micromanage my people. And if I don't micromanage them, then I don't trust them to do their job,
Absolutely.
which you won't have any employees
No,
or
not for
customers.
very long. You'll have a
No,
continual revolving door, is what's going to happen.
absolutely. Absolutely. Who wants that? Who,
No.
I don't know anybody who wants that because you're getting rid of the talented people. Talented people are walking out the door because of that 9 seconds. Talented people are walking out the door because you want to dictate. Talented people are walking out the door because they don't feel seen or heard. We
Right.
want to keep the talented people. We don't want a revolving door. That looks bad on our records.
Absolutely. So, what is something as we begin to close that you can give our audience members to help them to reclaim their reign if they are in a toxic workplace culture? And where can we find your book?
Yes, absolutely. So all of my books are on Amazon right now. So you can go to Amazon. I did put the links to a couple things um, in the chat, but I could do that a little bit better. When I put it into the chat, it definitely had some spaces in between, but it definitely ruled out the spaces. And I'll give you a little bit more, but I do want to say, if you are in a toxic environment, or you just are in a place in business, or even as just being an executive, and you feel like it's either there's a cage for you, or there's just things not working out, I would really just always take a snapshot of what you're doing. Always take a snapshot of the things. I had this one client who was like, oh my God, this is the most toxic place that I've ever worked in. This guy has no emotional intelligence. He barks orders at me and so on and so forth. And by the end of our conversation, she had no emotional intelligence. And I'm like, well, you probably were put into this position. She was like, I don't even know where the job came from. I don't even know when I applied for it, when I got it. But I was like, usually in those situations, it's not a coincidence. Try to find what that space is trying to teach you. So for her, that space was trying to teach her, not only does she need to create emotional intelligence, that she always doesn't need to clap back when someone says something that she doesn't like, right? That part. But also looking at, she's going to be a leader. So the job that she took on was really just okay, I just need this job. I needed a transition. I'm transitioning. I just need this job. She was going to divorce. She needed a transition. So, okay, this is this job. Well, it really shows her that I can be a leader. How can I learn from this person how to be a leader, how not to be a leader? Like they usually say, the best teachers are what you shouldn't do, right?
Hello, join me, Stacy Bullock, host of Tools for Everyday Living on E360's Positive Vibrations channel every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on E360 TV.
So I learned how to love because I knew what love didn't look like, or how to lead because you know what leadership doesn't look like. So if you are in that situation, what things will you hold on to? What things that you won't tolerate in your next spot? And really figure out what's going to be the best fit for you. A lot of people get stuck because they don't know, they don't have clarity around where they want to be. But usually when you lack clarity, and I help my clients get clarity, but usually when you lack clarity, you're going to get a life that kind of sort of like it's going to kind of look like what you want, but you're always going to be missing something, right? You need complete clarity. You need to be as clear as a glass on what you want and how you achieve those things. And that's what I work with my clients with, is really like, okay, this is what you want. Let's go get it. Let's go get it together. Let's go get it together. So that's what I would definitely say, that if you are in that place right now, take a snapshot of what it is. What are you going to learn from it? And where do you want to be in the next couple of years, the next couple of months, right? Because we're not going to stay there. Toxic is our mental health. If it causes our mental health, it's too expensive.
That is very powerful. So morning routines, just to clarify, morning routines will really help to clarify our day, to make things go smoother. And you recommended the Savers acronym from Miracle Morning, and you have a store on Etsy to help them get into that routine, as well as being crystal clear on where it is that you want to go and what type of work or life that you want, because then you can find where you want to be and lead beyond burnout.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for being a guest on our show. And I hope everyone takes the opportunity to contact Zipporah Monique. And you have an eponymous website, correct?
Yes.
So take note of the name so that you can spell it correctly. And we can find you on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
Yes, you can find me on all the above. And also, if you do need to figure out, are you leading with emotional intelligence? I have a "Do You Lead with Emotional Intelligence" quiz. I put the link in the chat. But if not, then you can always go to my website and get that, or my
Out-
LinkedIn.
Outstanding. And thank you once again for being here today.
No, thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Alrighty. Thank you. Okay, everyone. Thank you for being here as our guest, our opening show. And hopefully this will allow you to have leadership beyond burnout.